Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, Pakistan is steadily picking its pace towards economic and political stability. Both are inevitable to have real-time development and prosperity. When we are talking about the economic indicators, they are showing promising results, so as the Free Trade Agreement negotiations between Pakistan and Gulf Cooperation Council. Experts and economists, they are very much confident that Pakistan is going to have this first ever FTA with the Gulf nations, which is going to pave the way for Pakistan's robust economic and trade growth. To discuss this important topic, we will also touch upon the elections 2024 as well, but first of all related to Pakistan GCC Fta. And to talk on this, we have in our studios Dr. Wasim Ishaq and also a senior journalist Hassan Khan. Thank you very much for both of you to be here. And online we have Dr. Hasnan. So most welcome to you as well. First of all, the first important question that Dr. Wasim, how do you see the prospects of this important free trade agreement between Pakistan and the Gulf nations?
Faisal, this is the right time that we have made a right choice in the history. And this is not an event of 1 day or 2 days. We have worked on this for the last 14 years. And since 2009, this is the first country in which GCC as an institution and as an organization has given this free trade agreement status to Pakistan. Now, how I look at it, apart from Pakistan's economy, it is more reassurance of Pakistan's political stability and enhanced stature in terms of Pakistan's credibility as a nation state. And it is a huge success of Pakistan's foreign policy as well. So historically, we have relations with all GCC countries, very good relations, and in difficult times of Pakistan's economic crunch, all the GCC countries, especially UAE, especially Qatar and Saudi Arabia, have helped Pakistan in those difficult times, especially since 1998 onwards. And even the last few years, UAE, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have been forthcoming in helping Pakistan financially in all ways. So this FTA will create a new history in Pakistan GCC relations.
When we are talking about, you are very right on that historical aspect suggests that Pakistan and Gulf nations have a very cordial historical relations in between. Hassan Khan, when we are talking about these relations, do you think that Pakistan's diplomacy is in the right direction to achieve this important benchmark?
Thank you very much, Faisal. I think Dr. Saab has rightly pointed it out. It's not only show trust of the GCC countries, a very crucial block, especially in the region, and the Pakistan political system or political stability. Simultaneously, it is a big economic, I think, economic opportunity for Pakistan, trade and business opportunities opening that. And definitely, I think this is lately when Pakistan has decided that our diplomacy needs to be focused on economics also. Historically, Pakistans were engaged at the international forum politically more, and most of the international dispute, Pakistan has somehow played a very important role in that. But unfortunately, this economic
Pakistan was always forthcoming in political things, international politics, rather than to be in trade and all that.
That's why I'm saying that unfortunately, this sector was ignored. Showcasing yourself as an economic opportunity, as a trade hub, as a communication hub for others. So I think this time, as Dr. Saab has said, it took almost 14 years. It's very unfortunate that when we started it early in 2004, I think around 2004, and either we failed to succeed it properly and reached a conclusion as early as possible, because GCC countries are deficient of especially food products, fruit products, vegetables, etc. And Pakistan, fortunately, is an agriculture country. So it was a bigger, and this is the nearest one. The next important thing is they are all Muslims, and the expats, Pakistanis, I think, is hugely the presence of the expats.
But I think so that some of the technical impediments were there. That's why it was elongated. But Dr. Hasnan, do you think that it's going to be a win-win situation for the Gulf countries as well as Pakistan regarding trade and economics, particularly when we are talking about bilateral investments?
Definitely in some aspect, but I would see to the fourth dimension. I mean, not just four dimension, fourth dimension, as your very program is looking forward for the fourth site. So if I talk about the GCC had a combined GDP of approximately US 1.4 trillion. So it has an impact, right? So where Saudi Arabia and the UAE contributed 49.4 and the 25.3% respectively to the bloc's GDP in 2020. So the GCC country had a total population of 58.7 million, where the Saudi Arabia and UAE constituted 59.3 and 16.9% respectively of total population of the bloc in the same year. So that means the bloc is very much there. But if I see to the trade balance, where I'm not going in details, I'm not going into details of where the exponential trade, where the petroleum oil, where the dried dates and the fresh dates, I'm not going there. But imports are high and exports are very low in that way. So let's come on to the very important part, which is where, and also include that GCC export of the service by Pakistan, which is Pakistan of the service. GCC were worth about 886.6 million, while it import of service from GCC were worth 2.1 billion. It's a huge difference. We are in the millions and they are in the billions. So Pakistan export of the service to the GCC country accounted for the 16.3% of the Pakistan global export in service. Now I'm coming to the very important part. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have reached a consensus on investment modalities, paving the path of the rectification of much awaited free trade agreement. Now, I request you, Mr. Faisal, that we have to differentiate the free trade agreement or bilateral trade agreement. I'm not in the favor of bilateral agreement. Yes, very much in the favor of free trade agreement. There is a huge difference. If you will ask, I'll definitely explain. But free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, a developed that has been pending for the last 19 years. That's mean because previous government, we have a check deck in Recordec, we have spent more than $15 billion of the loss in Recordec in the International Compensation Management Department. So this was a pushback to us, which is not fair. And that was a bilateral trade agreement,
this,
and that was
dispute resolution mechanism at the mutual or the local level is better than rather going straight away into the arbitration council or some sort of international arena?
See, a very pertinent question. See, I just wanted to think that two countries or maybe the GCC country must, I mean, on one part of the table, they must be sitting over there, and the second would be us. There would be no international arbitratory council. There should not be arbitratory council under the World Bank. There should not be any arbitratory council under any of the financial institute, because
any other mechanism, because three of the mechanisms were already defined on in that
Exactly. So now, if I coming on to that point, so one approved, this will make the first trade and investment agreement. I'm favoring the free trade agreement, which what we are going in. Most supposedly, Dr. Gohar Ejaz is here for that purpose, and I'm sure he will make it. And investment agreement in GCC has entered into with any country in the past 15 years. The primary free trade agreement FTA between the GCC and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan come in the recognition of the importance of strengthening trade relation and economic cooperation with countries and international blocs. This is very much important. Now, what is the dispute? So if we come on to the dispute side, the former government introduced a new template for investment treaties. The Pakistan provided for the local arbitration as remedy. The template was introduced in response to ICSID. ICSID is the real bone of contention, what I'm saying. They give us the penalty of 6 billion on the Pakistan due to its refusal to the grant of the mining lease for the Recordec project to the Australia and the Thailand copper company, and then the Saudi major players in the GCC. Well, Caretaker Prime Minister or the Commerce Minister Dr. Gohar Ejaz mentioned that the Pakistan is making progress on finalizing the investment related part of the GCC Free Trade Agreement. Well, I am very happy if they are going to happen. The Free Trade Agreement, while this agreement will strengthen the economic ties between Pakistan and GCC, fostering the new opportunities for trade and investment, And the potential agreement could significantly enhance Pakistan export capacity to GCC bloc. And furthermore, while the FTA is expected to lead the mutual economic growth and prosperity, and one is the most important, we will talk after that, but yes, also fostering the exchange of the culture. But there are few hurdles in trade with the GCC. I will explain later in the program.
Your point well taken, Dr. Hasnain. Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about Pakistan GCC FTA, what is going to be significant in this negotiations, and then if the progress made and this agreement is going to be signed between both?
Okay. From my perspective, this FTA is a win-win cooperation between Pakistan as well as GCC as an organization. And how it is going to benefit Pakistan and as well as GCC? One, as of today's statistics, Pakistan's total volume of trade with the GCC is around 19 billion, in which Pakistan's export to GCC is hardly about 3 billion. So in that case, we have a huge trade deficit. So through this FTA, when it is actualized, it will immediately get us the space of around 4 billion US dollars, which could be immediately exported. So that means our export balance to GCC countries would be doubled by immediate implementation of this.
Do we have the quality export base available in Pakistan?
Yes, we do have, but because of certain tariff restrictions, it could not be materialized before. Okay. But as per my research, it says that Pakistan's export to GCC would be around $8 billion within about 1 or 2 months of implementation of this FTA on ground. So that means Pakistan is going to accrue its huge finances in terms of US dollars by about double, 100%. So this is one aspect. And secondly, as a long-term project, Pakistan has huge agriculture base, while the GCC countries are struggling in terms of their food security. So Pakistan can offer all in terms of food security, as well as our Gwadar port is now almost operationalized. So we have huge potential in terms of seafood. So other than the traditional food like meat and halal meat, etc., we can diversify it further in terms of the seafood, and there's a huge market in the entire GCC.
Yeah, definitely it is, and specifically when we are talking about the investment chapter, it is still the information is that it is with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Rest of the Gulf countries, we have already some of the agreements there. So do you think that previous agreements are going to serve with other 4 nations as well?
I think this is, as far this investment chapter is concerned, I consider it very crucial. You know that already Pakistan.
It was really.
Yeah, it's really, especially the credit goes to SIFC, Special Investment Facilitation Centers, yes. Which they have, I think, in such a short time, they have managed to make a part of the free trade agreement. Trade is totally different thing, and investment is totally different things. So I think this is very crucial part. I mean, definitely this, as per this international arbitration or local arbitration, it was delayed due to the agreement, because especially Saudi Arabia's,
definitely,
because the previous government has, following the record $6 billion penalty, I think the previous government has decided that only arbitration will be done by the local.
As Dr. Hasnain rightly mentioned.
As Hasnain rightly mentioned it. So I think now definitely when they are coming up with the billions of dollar investment, as we are looking, we are expecting, especially from Saudis, Kuwaits, Qatar's, UAE. So definitely they shall have a say in it. Definitely they will try their level best to secure their investment, especially in such a time when there are dispute with the local partners or with the local administration. So I think this is very crucial one, and we shall not be shy of going into the international arbitration if we are sincere, as we are. So far, I think no country will be, I think, record that was a totally different thing. So
definitely right now the economic
that was totally
stability is our priority right now.
At that time, I'm not going into the specific who was responsible for it, but you know, at that time the judicial activism in Pakistan unfortunately has given a huge blow, not only to the political Pakistan but also the economic side of it. So I hope that this is a very comprehensive agreement. This FTA with the GCC, it's very comprehensive. It is encompassing the investment part of it also. So, you know, Pakistan Prime Minister who was in Kuwait, and there a lot of MOUs were signed, especially to the Kuwaitis interest investment. He was in Qatar, he was in UAE, etc., especially when he was there for COP28. So in COP28, hasn't that provided
Lots
the
of
Prime Minister
benchmarks we can
opportunity to
discuss
interact,
even in detail,
to interact with the Gulf countries, and especially all the 6 Gulf countries. Pakistan have already very good relations with them.
Definitely we
yeah,
have. Dr. Wasim, when we are
they
talking about that, Hassan rightly said about that Saudi Arabia has a very crucial but very important role in negotiations related to FTA. So how do you see Saudi Arabia's role, particularly they are in par when we are talking about GCC Secretariat as well?
I think Saudi Arabia is a very effective member of GCC, and Saudi Arabia has been forthcoming in every effort to support Pakistan.
No doubt.
So Saudi Arabia and alone, Saudi Arabia and UAE at bilateral level on the investment part have promised 25 billion US dollar each to be invested in Pakistan, mostly in petrochemical sectors as well as in the IT sector. So I think apart from FTA, they are also helping us in a huge investment. So that means around 50 billion US dollars investment should be coming to Pakistan in about a few months' time. So the entire CPAC, which is going to be unfolded in about 8 years' time, is entire investment would be around $60 billion, whereas alone 2 countries are making another investment of $50 billion. So joined together by 2030, I think Pakistan's GDP would have been added by another 100 billion US dollars. So I think it's a huge investment, and it is because of the efforts of Saudi Arabia, and also Saudi Arabia was facilitating our talks with the GCC president and all other GCC countries. So it was spearheading the talks. So therefore, I believe that this is very timely. It's a win-win for the GCC and individual countries, as well as win-win for Pakistan, especially in the time when Pakistan is about to embark upon the election process, and the huge stability you can see around in terms of security, in terms of economic stability, and the nation is really geared up for the elections. And we expect that after the elections, there will be some sort of
definitely,
more
because
stability and more
political
economics.
stability is the benchmark for economic stability. Yes.
This not only the Saudis or the GCC investment or it gives a confidence to others also. Look at when the IMF gives you
Obviously,
$1 billion. $1 billion for Pakistan economy was nothing, but they build the confidence of other institutions, other financial institutions, so they offer, so that make a that make a difference. So this, whether it is the investment arrangement with the GCC, whether it is the free trade agreement with the GCC,
definitely
it gives a confidence to other blocks.
Your
and other
point
countries,
well
yeah.
taken. Dr. Asnan, when we are talking about this important juncture, how do you see that what Pakistan can offer to the GCC countries and what GCC countries can offer to Pakistan?
Well, this potential for Pakistan, what I see from the GCC Free Trade Agreement, if it happens, and of course, one of our respected panelists talking about the record deck, but if he goes on the economic point, he would find that the bilateral trade agreement was the reason, not the judicial. But moving on to the other side, this is very important thing. The government of Pakistan has not received, incentivized the develop of testing center in Pakistan, where the required quality test of shipping into the GCC market can be performed in the cost-effective manner. And the Pakistan lack energy resources. These are few things I just wanted to market before I go to the potential area. So this is, of course, these are the area where the SIFC and under the plan where the $25 billion from the Qatar, $25 billion from the UAE, $25 billion from the Saudi, and in total $100 billion of the foreign direct investment. We need to identify those core areas where we need to identify. So we already identified this special economic zone. If we ask the CPAC Council, or which is the chairman or headed by the some of the economic federation, so we have 9 economic zones. A very important thing is we need to take on the board the UAE and the Saudi Arabia on the refinery matter. We need to upgrade our refinery onto the V8 facility upgradation of the refineries, which is very, very, very important. Then second is that we must have to focus our whole energy on the hydro rather than any alternative energy. That is my personal opinion. You can criticize me. But there, because I have worked a lot in that area, and I'm coming to the point that we need to understand the route is very much important, and the total supply chain cost is very much effective in that way, and strict licensing requirement. And licensing requirement, I always talking on the all platforms that we need to have the quality licensing in every way possible. Please listen to me, all of the Ministry of Industries, all of the Board of Investment, and please listen to me, the Quality Assurance Department, and the MUFA also.
How Dr. Asnan, you see about the SIFC's role in this, because they are always stressing upon one window operation?
See, I really appreciate SIFC when they says there is a bureaucratic glitch. Believe in me, there is a only root cause of Pakistan deteriorating economy is bureaucracy, and bureaucracy. They are demolishing Pakistan like anything. So SIFC says we need to rectify the problem of bureaucracy. What I am saying is that we don't have to rectify, they cannot be managed. So we need to, giving a parallel system, as the Six Sigma Quality Assurance says that if the previous people are not working, we need to develop a parallel team. So we need to have the operational one window operation, as Dr. Faisal, you pointed out, is very rightly and correct. So SIFC under the right people, and they have to deploy the right people in the right direction, which is a technocratic system, a complete technocratic meritocratic system minus bureaucracy.
Your point well taken, Dr. Wasim. This important agreement between both GCC and Pakistan, whether we have already done any sort of a market survey of the GCC countries, that what are their requirements and how we can fulfill it?
Since we were involved in this process since last 14 years officially, and otherwise you can add from 2004 another 5 years. So last about 2 decades we were involved. We have done a fair bit of survey, and we exactly know what are their requirements, and they know what are our requirements. And at bilateral level, we have already been talking to UAE, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and partly Saudi Arabia had already agreed for oil refinery in Gwadar, and probably certain operationalization details have also been finalized. It will be done through Saudi Aramco company. And other than that, the existing oil refineries in Karachi and Port Qasim, they will also be upgraded. So this is one aspect. From our perspective, Pakistan's export to GCC countries, we, as I already mentioned, that we have huge potential in terms of food security, while GCC is facing food insecurity. So in terms of rice, textile material, quality products, value-added products, garments, we have a lot of potentials. We have a lot of infrastructure available. So in that case, by also applying phase 2 of CPAC, where it will be the agriculture and harvesting and early harvesting. So in that context, we would be inshallah running into food surplus.
Hassan, if you briefly tell us about that, we have talked a lot about Saudi Arabia, but rest of the GCC countries, what is their feedback? Because all of the member countries must have a consensus on that. So they are showing their consensus, but what is your take on it?
I think already tomorrow or day after on Sunday there will be the GCC Foreign Ministers Conference, and they are going to approve it. It's just a formality. Already the work is done at its headquarters in Riyadh by our Minister of Commerce is there. So I think, and look, Faisal, one thing which I want to stress is that GCC countries are not new for us. This is the nearest destination for the Pakistani goods. You just take it to any port, whether you take it to Karachi, whether you take it to Gwadar or Port Qasim, etc. It's just a stone throw away from the Pakistani market. And we are GCC countries, as I said, the largest Pakistani diaspora expats are in the GCC state, whether it is the UAE, whether it is Saudi Arabia, whether it is Oman, Qatar, or Kuwait. I think unfortunately that due to that incident when it was attacked by. So I think otherwise we are the closest, the closest can be the closest partners for the GCC. And it's not only, yes, I agree with Dr. Saab, it's the food items. But look, as Dr. Hasnain mentioned, the pharmaceutical, Pakistan has huge pharmaceutical production sectors. Pakistan has a huge chemical production sectors. We have the textiles, and we have other the services sectors.
Means
I
we
think.
have all the potential to take advantage
I
of this
think we
free
can,
trade
and
agreement.
now sky is the limit. If we, unfortunately, we still have the production capacity. That will be the only thing which I see.
Thank you very
Otherwise,
much,
the sky
Hassan.
is
Thank
the
you.
limit.
So nice of you. Viewers, as our panelists suggested, that we are all very hopeful about this Pakistan and Gulf nations free trade agreement, and we hope that this agreement will be concluded soon, and Pakistan will take advantage of it, and Pakistan's industrial sector is all set to grow, all set to export to the GCC countries. This is all in the first segment. Here we take a very short break, and soon after, when we will come, we will discuss about the election 2024. Viewers, welcome back. We are discussing now the general elections 2024. As you all know, that Pakistan is consistently marching towards these elections, and as the political stability is inevitable for economic stability, and that's why these elections are very important, very imperative. Election Commission of Pakistan already issued the code of conduct. Along with that, the delimitations already notified. Voter lists are going to be issued soon. Along with that, during this current month, mid of this month, election schedule will also be going to announce for the elections on 8th February 2024 next year. So to talk on this important subject, we have the same panel. Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about elections, as we have already discussed about the economic well-being of the people, along with the economic stability of the country, it is important to have a political stability. How do you see the election 2024?
In my opinion, this election 2024 will define the future course of Pakistan. We have been through difficult times, through political instability, and last 5 to 7 years have been very critical for Pakistan. Because of political instability, we lost on foreign policy grounds. We had difficulties on economic grounds. But in last about 3 years, we have recovered again. Today, we are far more stable in terms of security, in terms of political stability, as well as in terms of economy. No more we are talking about Pakistan is defaulting. So in this we have just covered in last 3 years. So election 2024 is very, very significant and very important from two aspects. One, from the overall political stability and credibility as a nation state, and secondly, from our economic prosperity. And third, during this time, the CPEC is about to be completed by 2030. So by about the same time, the tenure of the next government would finish. So as we have seen, that election commission is totally geared. All state institutions are totally geared. A lot of funds have already been allotted, and few are left, which hopefully should be allotted in time. And the political parties have also started their political campaigns. So in my perspective, this is the ideal time and absolute ideal environment provided to all the political parties for conducting their rallies. And
your point well taken, but Hassan Khan, you are a senior journalist, and situation is that the rumors are stronger than the ground realities. As the election commission is already, as Dr. Wasim said, that it's geared up. Stage is set to have general elections in Pakistan. But why these rumors are more stronger?
This is quite unfortunate that in Pakistan's conspiracy theory sells very high.
Unfortunately.
Very unfortunately. Look at the way the Supreme Court has assured that there is no way there will be election on that specific date. It's given as February 28th. The Election Commission has given this date to the after an agreement with the President of Pakistan. The Election Commission has almost done all the homework. Delimitation has been completed. Objections or any concerns of the citizens raised toward the delimitation or the constituencies has been, I think, that has been removed. Now it's finally announced. The required funds, which was 17.4 billion rupees already short, which this Election Commission was asking for, has been released day before yesterday. So I think now we are just closer to the announcement of the election schedule, and the electoral rolls have been dispatched to the districts. So which is not there, and you can say that, yeah, still if that is done, so we can say we can be assured that now it is come, because all the institutions, the Prime Minister, I think it's last week, when the Chief Election Commissioner met with the Prime Minister, he asked the Prime Minister to visit the Election Commission of Pakistan and personally look into the details, which already the preparations which already we have done. The Election Commission has already asked for the security, that how much security will be required for the province of Punjab, how much security will be required for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, for Sindh and Balochistan. So I think there is nothing to believe or nothing to create an impression that there is a doubt on conductions or holding of election on that day. But it is quite unfortunate that here some of the politicians, like yesterday's statement of Maulana Fazlur Rahman, where he pointed out that
but he was pointing out about the security
situation, and he was saying that the campaigning will be difficult there. He was not saying the conduction of elections. He said that it will be difficult for the political leaders to campaign, especially in the southern districts of Pakhtunkhwa and in certain districts of Balochistan. And unfortunately, then
but
everybody...
in several elections, there are few pockets where the campaigns were not much easier.
Look, 2008 elections, when 2008 elections were held, immediately followed by an operation in Malakand division. In 2013 elections, in 2014
and in 2007 there was
in 2007,
assassination
yes, that's what I'm
Benazir
saying.
Bhutto.
That was delayed in September 2007, was delayed to February 2008. So I think Benazir Bhutto was assassinated, she was martyred. When the nation is committed and when the institutions are committed, so I think nobody can stop it.
Yeah, definitely. Your point is very important, very pertinent. Dr. Hasnan, when we are talking about the conduct of elections, what ultimately be the impact on economy and particularly the country's finances?
Yeah, just on the lighter note, as being economist and by seeing onto the economic lens, I am very much into the favor that $50 billion rupees must be saved. Well, this is on the lighter note. Well, of course, election is very much inevitable, and it has to. So the finance division has related to 17.4, as respected panelist Mr. Hassan says, to the Election Commission of Pakistan, in addition to rupees 10 billion released in July 2023 for conduct of the general election in the country. So that's mean there is no ambiguity, election is going to happen on 8 Feb. So this brings the total release amount of the 27.4 billion of the holding general election, and it's seen that the finance division committed to provision of the fund as when required by the Election Commission of Pakistan. And also the caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar, the Chief Election Commissioner Sikandar Sultan Raja, in a meeting have also assessed the preparedness for the next general election, with the form ensuring a letter of provision on all necessary sources of the pool. And the Premier assured the CEC the interim government and would provide the fund and necessary security for the election. So the question by the Maulana Fazlur Rahman or the other parties has been clear, because the complete security has been given. And of course, it is, and very much important thing is the continuation of the government, and the longer government for the 5 year is very much important and necessary, because SIFC plan is only workable when there is a complete systematic political approach and stable, sensible political parties on the economic consensus. And economic consensus is very much important, and we need a growing maturity by all the parties, so that we cannot give any dent to Pakistan now. So we need a permanent particular stability in Pakistan, so that the $100 billion foreign direct investment comes in Pakistan, and economy first, and the political stability or the political conflict, using the word political conflicts, it should be after that.
So
and
Dr. Hasnan, very well said. Very well said. Political stability is inevitable for economic stability, no doubt about it. But how do you see as you have rightly mentioned that at least 27.4 billion rupees already transferred to Election Commission of Pakistan. At least 14.6 billion is also required because the accumulative amount is 42 billion rupees. Now, on the other side, there is a security cost as well. So how do you analyze this one as well?
Yes, 50 billion. Believe in me, on the again on the lighter note, but personally, if you ask me, believe in me, Pakistan is not in the condition to spend 50 billion rupees on election. So we must have to think, but this is not my jurisdiction to speak on. But this is a very, desperating moment because we need a foreign direct investment. We need to have the stability. We need, for example, the new government came in, then there is a hung government, there is a national government, then there is a KPK government, they have their own issues, then there is a Punjab government, then there is other government, then there is other government, then there is a federal government, and then there is a national NFC 18th amendment issue will come on. They will discuss on whether the NFC award should be dispersed or we should amend it, or there is no need of amendment. Then they will all the way it will be round off. So I am looking forward that the 50 billion altogether security, I am minusing the security. If I include the security, it will goes on by the 70 to 80 billion rupees. So this amount must have to save for another about, and we have to move for the technocratic, meritocratic setup rather than, because we have the state-owned enterprises, we need to manage them. We have 212 state-owned enterprises which are giving us the 2.667 trillion losses per year. So please
your point well taken. Your point well taken, Dr. Hasnan. Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about elections, voter list, the complete voter list is going to be issued soon. Along with that, the district returning officers and returning officers' details and their vital role is going to be issued soon as well. So how do you see that the voter list, along with the participation of the people, whether more voters added, along with that the role of DROs and ROs?
I would like to answer few queries from the last two questions first, and before going on this one.
Okay.
One on security. Pakistan today is not like the Pakistan of 2007 and 2013.
Obviously it is.
So the former FATA is almost clear. Balochistan is far more stable. Karachi is far more stable. And overall stability in the country is well within control. So there is no issue of security. One. Yes, barring few areas where you can have certain
definitely
issues,
they are always there.
So we can have added security
exceptions
measures.
are there.
So security for me for this election is not a big challenge.
No
Second,
doubt. Okay.
saving of $42 billion, not having elections, to me I don't agree with this point, because to me this is the future of Pakistan. We are under a constitution of Pakistan which says that we would have a democratic system, and the
all the way
election
Dr.
is,
Hasnan said at the lighter mode as well.
so
that was lighter
election
mode.
is the only way where we can bring in the new elected people representatives. And therefore, when they would come, they already have a charter of democracy signed, and they are looking forward for a charter of economy. So both things are complementary to each other. More political stability, there will be more economic stability.
No doubt.
These
no doubt.
42 billion rupees
Yes.
or 100 billion rupees would be recovered just in first few months. So therefore, for the larger interest of Pakistan's future, I think this is a welcome development that we are going for elections. Now coming over to the electoral rolls. Yes, the Election Commission, as per its timeline, has done all the formalities. All the strategic level and operational level things have been tied up. We're just working few on the tactical level issues. That means the polling schemes. Those are to be issued. So I'm sure as we proceed to the next month, those polling schemes would also be out. So that means all those steps which are required for holding a free and fair elections would be complete.
So, Dr. Hassan, what about the level playing field to all political parties? And one, and second is that election schedule must have to be issued 54 days prior to the election date. So, Election Commission is geared up on that. Right in the current month, at the mid of this month, hopefully that election schedule will also come. So how do you see these both aspects?
I think this is, as far the election schedule is concerned, already the Election Commission has expressed its intent, most likely by 15 or 16 of this month, the current month, the schedule, because the schedule is usually announced 54 days before the day of the day of election. So it falls somewhere on 15 or 16 of December. So definitely it will be issued. I think this is nothing to suspect or nothing to say that it will be delayed or it will be, I think, either delayed or either something some other things will happen. As for the this level playing field is concerned, definitely now you know the electioneering has almost started. Pakistan People's Party has conducted almost a number of political meetings in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 4, 5, and they are again the Bilal Bhutto Zardari is again going on 7th of this month to Pakhtunkhwa, launching another campaign spell there. Maulana Fazlur Rahman, he has already started it. The other Awami Nation in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where we have this fears of what you call it, law and order, and I think that's the first
terror wave,
but that is the first province which is attracting almost all the political party to start their election campaign there. And the election, what you call it, the alliances are now working out. JUI and the PMLN and the MQM, etc. Now they're working. Pakistan People's Party is its 56th Foundation Day was observed in Quetta, and a lot
means
of people,
the political system gets working now.
It has started working, and the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has started its conventions, etc. Now gathering the workers, galvanizing the worker. So I think already the political parties, every political party has its own space. No, definitely during elections. During election, you have to accuse me, I have to accuse you for something's already done wrong by somebody else.
So thank you very much for your presence. Thank you very much for well elaboration. Thank you very much, Dr. Wasim, for your presence here in studios. Thank you very much, Dr. Hasnan, for being with us online. Viewers, as our panelists suggested, and even Hassan Khan, the senior journalist, he is very hopeful that if Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is hosting lots of political parties and political leaders, alliances are in making, it means that the political activities are now gearing up. Election Commission of Pakistan is doing all what is required to have free, fair and transparent elections in the country, and the general election 2024 are the benchmarks for the political stability in the country. And as our analysts have rightly said, that political stability is a must to have economic stability. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.